And you must have it in your life in 1998. Terry?
Well, in this next story, the plane was on fire, but the fuel didn't ignite. And when Lauren Davis thought he was trapped, a door was mysteriously held open. David Kithcart brings us the heart-stopping story of a miraculous escape from a monumental plane crash. Watch.
And then put the hammer down, and the tail lifted up, and then the plane lifted off. I had no idea, not in a million years, what was about to happen to us.
Lauren and Celeste Davis of Livingston, Texas, decided to quit their successful contracting business because they believed that God had called them to the mission field in Africa. They held crusades there with many salvations, healings, and miracles. It seemed as though their calling was confirmed. When they came back, they purchased and refurbished a DC-3 airplane to use in Africa. Lauren earned his license to fly it and had just completed his first flight. Two other professional pilots, Ron and Buddy, were now flying it to stay current and qualified on DC-3s.
I'm having my own good time with the Lord in the backseat. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. I'm a faith man. I'm sitting in my faith plane. Thank God it's paid for. And then the captain, Buddy, said, something's wrong with the left engine. And so we were in danger of stalling, which would have turned the plane upside down, and we'd have been toast. Since the throttles were all the way to the firewall, the only way we could pick up airspeed is to put the nose down. So all of a sudden, I realized we're going to crash.
I was in our local bookstore doing some work on their computer in the back of the store. And just a horrible, my body just began to hurt. I mean, from my head to my toes. I realized it wasn't an attack on my body, it was intercession for someone. And so I just began to pray in the Spirit.
I had no fear. I had not one thought of death cross my mind. I had such peace, I didn't grab a hold of anything to hold on to it. I had such peace inside me, I didn't even pray. The only thing is, I said, oh, shucks, my plane. As we came in, we hit the top of a couple of trees, and there was a mobile home. And the right wing came down, and it hit the top of the mobile home. Thank God no one was in the mobile home. This is a residential area we're coming down in. And this home is full of children and the mother, Mrs. West. And we're barreling straight down for that home. If we don't stop within 200 feet, many people are going to die. There were two oak trees about this big around, and they were the exact width of the fuselage of the airplane. The plane came down perfectly parallel between those two oak trees, and they were the right diameter that they bent before they snapped in two. It tore off the left wing, and the tail caught between the two trees and stopped it instantly like a catapult catch of an aircraft carrier.
The sudden stop ripped the propellers from the wings, sending them hurtling through the air on a direct course for the house. One prop hit an air conditioner and bounced off the house. The other sliced through the front porch on its way to the living room.
It was only 3 feet to the living room. Within 3 feet's time, that 800-pound propeller, 12-foot propeller, died, and it rolled over and just broke the window and nestled on the back of the couch. In my understanding, there was a boy sitting on the back of the couch. He was sitting on the couch, and he was not even scratched.
The people in the house were safe, but Lauren and the two pilots were still in the plane.
Instantly, the whole cockpit was on fire. But inside the plane, no one's killed. There are no broken bones, no internal injuries. Fuel was pouring out of the plane. The plane was on fire, but the fuel was not igniting. And we're sitting on it. And Buddy yelled, "Get out, fire!" And I ran looking for a way out. And I got to the cargo door, but it was twisted. And a big lump came in my throat. Knowing this plane's getting ready to blow, that only left one way of escape, and that was a little door right behind the cargo door. against the law of gravity, no latch on it. It was swung up, open for us.
Like somebody was holding it.
It's like somebody, and I'm thinking, who's holding the door open? We were moving and had barely cleared the plane, and I heard 5 big booms. And then there was a massive explosion, and I collapsed in a ditch.
With the plane gone and no comprehensive insurance to replace it or cover property damages, Loren considered his mission to Africa null and void.
I turned my head, and I said, I can't stand to look. But the Lord just spoke to my heart and said, that plane's not your ministry. That plane's not your life. The anointing is your ministry. You've still got me. You got your wife. You got your family. I'll give you a choice. And I chose to stay. I don't know if I was semi-conscious what, but I just bit down. I don't think anybody else heard me, but I just said, I will not die over this plane.
Loren and Celeste were at the crash site the next day. Loren's feet swelled so much that he couldn't wear shoes.
It didn't matter to him if he didn't have on shoes. He walked through the ashes of that burned up aircraft, and to think that he was in the middle of that and God preserved him was awesome. It showed me how powerful God is and the protection of God.
The Davises learned something else about God's protection. During the crash, the pilot and the homeowner saw someone who couldn't be accounted for.
She said, Loren, I just have one question to ask you. Who was that man? See, Ron told me when I was in the ditch, the co-pilot, he said, Loren, there was a 4th man in the plane. We'd never seen him in the neighborhood. There was no other vehicles around. No one had arrived at the crash scene. No one knew who was in the plane. But this man did. And he started walking toward me in the ditch. And she turned her head to look at her children, looked back, and he disappeared.
The Davises still had to deal with the matter of property damage.
What I did is I took the money that I was going to use to take the plane to Africa to repair the people's homes and to clean up the damages. And as the news media was asking me about this, I said, well, before I'm a preacher, I'm a Christian. And these people need ministering to right now more than the people in Africa.
Within 6 weeks of the crash, the Davises went on a scaled-down trip to Africa.
Now, I wanted to make a statement to the devil that this was not going to stop us. And I want to make a statement to God that we're going to be faithful, even if it may be extremely hard to do it. And then to those who supported us, that we're not wimps, we're not giving up. When I came back from Africa, a letter had come in while we were gone. This man said, I want to help you to get another Chariot of Fire.
The Davises hoped to take the Chariot of Fire 2 over to Africa to continue the work that God has for them there. They still marvel at experiencing God's delivering power firsthand.
Someday when we get to heaven, maybe the Lord will let us rerun that thing to see all the angels of God that were around about that day.
What a message, the 4th man, the 4th man, like those Hebrew children, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.